$840 million. I mean, that is how much DeFi protocols have bled in just the first 5 months of this year. And the weapon of choice, next generation AI.
Yeah, and it's not just, your standard phishing scams either.
Right. Welcome to our deep dive into the Vantage Plus Weekly Crypto Outlook, published today, Monday, June 15th, 2026. If you're looking at the recent market bounce and thinking we are totally out of the woods, well, we really need to talk about what's actually propping this up.
Exactly, because going back to that $840 million figure, Anthropic's newest AI models aren't just like writing code. They are allowing bad actors to instantly simulate thousands of logical attacks on DeFi smart contracts.
Wow. So before developers even realize a loophole exists, the money is gone.
Pretty much, yeah. We are watching a real-time arms race between institutional adoption and just unprecedented technological threats.
Well, let's push on that institutional side for a second, because the big catalyst everyone is pointing to right now is the SpaceX IPO. They have, what, over $1.3 billion in Bitcoin reserves?
Yep, over 1.3 billion. And it's basically the ultimate corporate treasury stress test.
But wait, I mean, we have been in a really volatile bear market. Isn't tying up over $1 billion of your corporate treasury in crypto a massive liability going into your first public earnings cycle?
You would think so, right? But the market is watching to see if a traditional tech titan can go public and rally while holding those massive reserves. Because if they pull it off,
It changes the paradigm.
exactly, it completely rewrites the rules for corporate balance sheets. But honestly, crypto is essentially just a passenger in the stock market's car this week. The recovery we're seeing, it's mostly reactive. It's just riding the coattails of late-week equity rallies.
Got it. So it's the older sibling doing well, and crypto gets to tag along. So looking at Bitcoin, it's sitting at around $64,247 right now, bouncing off those early June lows.
Yeah, and it's clearly eyeing that $70,000 psychological mark.
Right, but it has to get through resistance hurdles first, right? Like 66,000, 68,700. But reading the Vantage Plus technicals, the true ceiling isn't actually those resistance lines, it's the US dollar.
Oh, 100%. Because Bitcoin is inherently priced against the dollar. So when the greenback gains momentum and, risk-free dollar yields rise, institutional capital historically just abandons risk-on assets like crypto.
So the moment the dollar index spikes, big money just moves back to fiat safety.
Exactly. And Bitcoin's downside accelerates immediately. It completely ignores whatever the technical charts say.
Which totally explains why the altcoin market feels so starved for air right now. If capital is retreating to risk-free dollars, or even just seeking the relative safety of Bitcoin, liquidity just dries up for everything else.
Yeah, the money just isn't trickling down.
Take Ethereum. It's trading at $1,673 today. It's stuck well below its long-term rising trend. It's almost like it's underwater holding its breath, It needs to breach $2,000 just to survive.
Right. Or it has to hope for a late-month rescue, kind of like that bullish turnaround we saw back in April 2025. But without that broader liquidity flowing down from Bitcoin, Ethereum is structurally trapped. And we see the exact same stagnation in XRP.
Yeah, XRP is just trading sideways at 1.1411.
Technically, it's positive because it's staying above its 50-day moving average, but it really needs to cross 1.3510 for any actual momentum.
But XRP always seems to do this, doesn't it? You get these massive, sharp, short-term
Oh.
spikes, and then it's followed by months of absolute dead air.
It's a textbook pattern for them. It's largely driven by news cycles and legal headlines rather than organic network volume. When the news fades, the sideways crawl begins again.
Right.
But honestly, the asset that genuinely concerns me right now is Solana. It's at 67.95, and it just hasn't stabilized at all since that big slide 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, hovering dangerously close to a $63 floor.
Hmm.
If it breaks that support, the Vantage Plus report suggests it could plummet into the $30 range. I mean, that sounds less like a market correction and more like a cascading liquidation event.
Yeah, think of that $63 floor like a structural load-bearing wall. If macroeconomic sentiment sours and we break below it, you trigger all these algorithmic stop losses and margin calls.
Wow.
And because liquidity is so thin right now, there's virtually no buying support underneath to catch the price until you hit those mid-30s.
So for those of you tracking this recovery, the takeaway is pretty clear. This isn't some roaring, organic crypto bull run.
Yeah.
It's a highly fragile bounce, totally dependent on a cooperative stock market, a weakening US dollar, and somehow avoiding this wave of AI-driven DeFi hacks.
Yeah, the macro forces are completely running the show right now. Individual token mechanics are absolutely taking a backseat to global liquidity.
Which leaves us with a critical question to chew on. If next-generation AI is already draining nearly $1 billion from DeFi through rapid-fire logical attacks, and quantum computing is looming over traditional encryption, at what point will the foundational architecture of crypto need a massive ground-up overhaul just to survive the very technological revolution it helped inspire? Something for you to think about. See you next time.